This is a situation where I have to separate the quality of the documentary from the subject matter. Wish me luck. I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not is a documentary about the rise and fall of alleged funny man Chevy Chase. By the way, here's a little bit of trivia that the movie doesn't give you, which I would assume Chevy Chase probably doesn't want you to know, so I'm going to share it. He was actually born Cornelius Crane Chase. I'm pretty sure whoever tricked him into thinking that Chevy was a good name is still having a big laugh. So I obviously cannot hide my disdain for this man. I am unapologetically a self-professed Chevy Chase antagonist. I only watch Christmas Vacation because everything else in it is good. Chevy Chase is just the annoying raisins I have to muscle through if I want to eat the trail mix. So I'm just going to take a minute or two and get my griping out of the way. Even as a kid, I did not understand the appeal. When my dad would show me Vacation when I was really little, I always thought the best part of that movie was the end when they get to Wally World. And not just because that's filmed at the amusement park that was just around the corner from us, but because John Candy steals the entire movie in his 3 minutes on screen. To this day, I maintain that John Candy and not Chevy Chase should have been Clark Griswold. I also read somewhere recently that John Candy was in talks to be in the Three Amigos, and my cynical side keeps thinking maybe he could have played Chevy Chase's part. Can you imagine a movie where it's Steve Martin, Martin Short, and John Candy is Dusty Bottoms? Oh my gosh, that is the parallel universe I wish I had grown up in. Because quite frankly, folks, Chevy Chase is the amigo that can't quite get the piñata popped. He is the amigo that never was. Funny that is. And I've watched The Three Amigos many times, and not once has Chevy Chase's character elicited a laugh from me. Not even like the slightest titter, ever. I think Chevy Chase is dead weight in that movie, and I think he's dead weight in comedy. And don't get me started on his Fletch movies. Oh, look how funny I am. I put a wig on and nobody recognizes me. I'm also going to get in bed with the youngest actress I can because it's in my contract, because I definitely couldn't get a girl any other way. So all my animosity toward him aside, I do feel pretty vindicated after watching this documentary. Old man Chevy Chase, who is in this movie for some reason of his own volition, he is mean and he is a horrible person. There are people who worked with him on projects who say on the documentary that they will never work with him again. One guy says he would, but he says it very hesitantly. I'm just assuming he's keeping that opportunity open just in case Chevy Chase comes back. Like, he got written off of his own sitcom. And there's a few parts where the documentarian asks him some very straightforward questions. And he'd literally turn and look at her and say, "You're stupid." Not in like the comedian, "Hey, we're friends" sort of way. Like, "You're so stupid." Anyway, he was very like just mean about it. Like, "You're stupid." Or they'd ask him a question. He would just be like, "You're a bitch." And then of course he would request that they cut it out. But I think it's ironic that they didn't, and very eye-opening. Another time he was asked a really simple question and he got so weird and awkward that he just pretended to slap a fly on his head and then licked it, expecting people to laugh. I think for certain people, when you reach a level of success, especially within comedy, you feel like anything and everything you do is hilarious and is a godsend. So I think he spent most of his life retreating to dumb little gimmicks like that. And I think it's just one of those things where the higher he fell into fame, people just started laughing at any dumb thing he'd say or do, probably because they were intimidated by his fame. And so then that obviously would egg him on to keep going, and you can actually see his head grow. So obviously I liked that the documentary wasn't in awe of him. But to be fair, it did show his good side as well by allowing his wife to tell some very sweet stories about him. I wonder how much he paid her to say that stuff. But like every person, there's good and there's bad. And I understand the ego boost when you reach celebrity fame at that age. Hell, I'm in my 40s and I feel like partying every time somebody doesn't unsubscribe from my channel. But think of it this way. Last year, we watched the John Candy documentary and we all fell in love with him all over again. Watch that documentary right after this one, and I can almost guarantee you that there's not a single person on the planet who would choose to be Chevy Chase rather than John Candy. And that's saying something, because John Candy's not alive anymore. John Candy left behind a legacy of selflessness, of love, of respect for his friends, his family, and his fans. Over 3 decades later, people are still celebrating John Candy's life. And then when Cornelius Chase here comes out with a documentary all about, you guessed it, him, people are surprised that he's even still around. While the documentary did vindicate my suspicions about Chevy Chase, I do like that it split him down the middle and showed both sides of him. And who knows, maybe there's still some hope for him to turn his life around and learn how to be nice and, be more generous to those around him and have his Scrooge moment. Because I don't think anybody could be truly lost while they're still here. Or maybe he's happy with himself and the way he treats people and what he has done with his career. Who am I to judge? I can't even get 5 subscribers by the end of the day. It is not going to happen. So I do recommend you download and check out My Name is Chevy Chase and You're Not if you're into the Hollywood tell-alls and the behind-the-scenes stories of famous people. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe so that I can see you in the next video.